Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tier 1. We're at Austria tonight. We were for Tier S. We've got 20 in the lobby, so everyone can start to ready up. I wasn't meant to be doing today. Well, I was, but however, I offered it to people because I want to watch the Liverpool game. And I messaged them this morning, no reply. Messaged this afternoon, no reply. And you kind of get the gist. That's why I'm here tonight. So any updates to the Liverpool game, whack them in the chat, and I'll appreciate it. So we need some 5 live comms, like score updates in the chat. Thank you very much. Tier 1. Myself and Mr. Loveland's here today. Welcome in, mate. We're actually together today, unlike last week.
Yeah, hopefully a bit better of a showing last week. I might make it past qualifying this week if we're lucky. So, excited to get into it. Title battle hotting up after last week. FGE not having their strongest race. So, looking forward to it.
Let's get on to standings as drivers start to ready up, hopefully soon. So team standings, there you go, talking about FGE, and they are currently leading the way. They were leading by 73 points. That got basically squashed by nearly a third by TTM, and it is now 49 points. So, it's good to see that it's going to get a bit closer. You don't really want one team running away with it unless you're an FGE driver or manager. You kind of want your team to run away with it. However, for a neutral viewer, which I essentially am a neutral viewer, I kind of want to see it to get tight. I wanted to see a nice close finish to the end of the season would be perfect. But yeah, let's see how this unfolds. TTM, we were just talking off stream. You can take them away, Loveland. You reckon TTM, arguably one of the favourites with the lineup? That if they continue with the lineup, I'll let you talk.
Well, yeah. Obviously, TTM you see on the standings. Their 2 strongest races, Australia and Hungary. They got a 1-2 at Australia and a 2-4 at Hungary with DZ and Kavis in that, or KVS, I should say. And every time they get a result, they change the lineup. And basing off of Silverstone, it didn't go too well. You can see they went from 56 to 6 points. So I think that's TTM's main problem at the moment, and this season overall, consistency. But if they can get up to FGE standard of consistency, I think be in for a proper title.
That's what I want. I'd like a little title over here. That's it, Plains, is he? Oh, there you go. There's a disconnect. I told you about. I'll get back in straight away. Mr. Exotic Plains, he won last week. Very good race for him. Very good indeed. I don't know is he racing today?
I do not believe he is. Let me just have a look.
Oh,
Oh no, he is. Yeah, he's in the Red Bull. Him and Blast. So yeah, Exotic Plains looking to extend his title advantage on DZ and Zinx, who both are not racing tonight, to my knowledge. So if he finishes the race, he will extend the gap. But I think you are back in good. And the random has been given the privilege of hosting, so hopefully he's.
No, I never host. It's Mr. Tatty hosts.
Oh, okay.
The reason I don't host is that reason.
Right.
Apparently, I wasn't the only one who got kicked. Stanner's got kicked as well.
I did see it drop down to a less number.
Stanners needs to.
Is he back in?
Stanners isn't yet. I am. I'm waiting.
All right.
Mr. Neon Lollipops as well. Is potentially going to join a group of 4 drivers. Have you any idea? There you go. Look, I'm going to put you on the spot. What group could Neon? If Neon won today, what group would he join?
I reckon he's. I don't. Is he won in tier 2 before? Is that a rule? If he wins today, maybe the.
Do you know what? Do you know what? I tell a lie. I don't think he did win in tier 2. I think he got close, didn't he? No, that's my mistake. I don't think he did. Or did he? I can't remember. He did. No, he did. It was Ched that didn't. Yeah, it was Ched that didn't. That's the one. No, you're right. Yeah. So if Neon won today, he would join the group. Well, there's only one driver that's won tier 1 and tier 2, and that is Andrea, which is kind of mad to be fair. And then there's 2 drivers. Well, actually no. Then you've got a driver who's won tier 1 and tier S, and then you've got another driver that's won tier 2 and tier S. That was furious yesterday. Cheers,
now he just needs to
cheers,
hit one.
Baldy. Cheers, Baldy. Liverpool big chance, 5th minute. Appreciate it. Right, let's go into the stats screen. I don't know if you've got this up, Loveland, but it's
Yeah, I can get it up.
Oh, you can get it up. Oh, it's not even there. It's not even there. It's not. Never mind. It's not even there. Last season's results. There you go. Griffiths won the race. Drobble second. Riley in P3. Neither of them are racing today. I believe. Is Justin racing? Didn't he race yesterday?
I don't
AMS
think
Justin.
he is. AMS are fielding Alfie and Ramon tonight.
I don't
So,
think anyone there raced. Oh, Exotic Plains. There you go. 12th last season.
And now leading the title.
Now
So,
leading the title.
how
Kieran,
times have changed.
yeah, there's not many there that are racing today. I think Exotic Plains is the only driver racing today. Can someone just
Yeah,
double
I'm
check
just having
that?
a look at that. I think that is right, yeah.
That's kind of mad, that, isn't it?
19 fresh faces.
Kieran.
I just realised
Kieran's racing.
Greenhorn's racing. That's brilliant.
Kieran's not racing today, Baldy, is he? Is he? Hang on.
He certainly
No, he's
isn't
not.
for IRT.
Baldy, mate. You can have. I'm going to time you out then. Right, we need to get onto the race. It is actually dry quali to start off with. Overlay main screen. Voila. Okie dokie then. So yesterday it was full wet race start, and then in quali it started to get wet after about 10 minutes. The way I'm looking at the clouds here, I am a part-time F1 weatherman. It does not look like we're going to have any rain in this quali session. Watch it be a monsoon now.
Well, we could see some in the race. Everyone left it over a minute to get out of the pits. So usually you want to head out straight away, but people maybe, seeing the rain, tweaking their setups. Who knows? Obviously, if anyone in the chat does know the weather forecast, if you're engineering or whatever, please let us know.
I can tell you why, lads,
information.
because... sorry, Loveland, I just needed to put in
no,
because
go
there was a technical issue. And I'll tell you why you could hear a million voices. It's because last week, if you listened in, I had my laptop audio connected, if you remember. I forgot to disconnect it. So for a second then, you heard my laptop audio and my headset. There you go. That's why. Right, back to you.
Yeah, well, I've completely forgot what I was saying. Yeah, something about the weather. If anyone knows the weather, let us know. It would help us out. But maybe we'll be able to tell from the times. First driver that will be coming round. That's a long old name, I'll tell you that. GFO Yavant, GR. I think I just call him Yavant. He is in Alpine, which to my knowledge, LMFJ. So starting his lap now. Final corner, just had a bit of a snap on the exit. So going to compromise his run up to turn 1, but starting the lap now. Short run up to turn 1 and you want to absolutely fling it in. Brake at the 70. Use that inside curb, all the exit curb. Quite passive, but first run, don't want to be too aggressive. Misses a gear shift there on my screen. Not sure if that was a glitch. But on the repaved section of the track now, into the deepest braking section on the track. Gets it turned in very nicely. And on the exit, gets the traction just perfectly. DRS open. No toes for him from his teammate. The Williams gets out the way, and now he's going to have to get past the AlphaTauri coming in through the middle sector. Very tricky braking zone there. Now using all the exit curb once again, and the AlphaTauri just ahead. That will be a slight distraction for this LMFJ driver, and you can see he runs a bit wide, but he's on 44.8 as he comes into the final sector, Tom.
Mr. Yvan, a driver I've not seen in AEC before. Definitely a driver I've not commentated as the McLaren weaving in front of him. It's not going to help his cause. Comes around the penultimate corner, entering the final corner here. Someone in the chat said he had a stinky sector 1. Let's see his time comes to the line now, and it's going to be a 4 flat. Mr. Dracaris is going to be the next driver to cross the line. He has not turned any of his ERS on, so maybe he's doing 2 out laps. Oh my goodness me. That is his lap over, and he's not even started it.
Yeah, and if he was doing 2 out laps, he's certainly going to have to do 3 now because he's absolutely bottled his run up to turn 1 and he's going to have to back out of that lap instantly. So no other times on the board as of yet. I think we've got a Williams coming through the final corner. Is that AMS Ramon? No, it's not. So no current laps on the board. I think Aston Martin maybe coming to the line. No, that's Kenyon starting the lap. So got a bit of a break in at the moment. F1 Nico now coming to the final corner. He is a 10.42 up on Yavan. Comes to the final corner. Doesn't match him. Doesn't eclipse him. Only 7 thousandths off as blast for AERT. 7 tenths clear of the field. And that is the new marker for everyone to chase.
I mean, notoriously, Tier S and Tier 1, their quality times aren't too far apart, to be honest. Maybe Tier S slightly edges it, but yesterday the pole was a 3.1. Might have gone a little bit quicker because it started to rain near the end, so they didn't get the final run out. So a 3.3 for Blast is not bad for a banker, let me tell you. I don't think anyone had a 3.3 for a banker yesterday. Maybe one driver, potentially. I was on board with Neon. He got a toe off his teammate, but invalidated at the end. And I believe he's given his Radius a toe there. I'm not 100% sure. No, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have a time. So Radius is on a lap here. Currently not set a lap. As Hoover's just crossed the line there. I think Kenyon has gone into P3. And someone else has just moved up the leaderboard. I think it was Lighty. So yeah, Radius entering Sector 3 very shortly, Rutherland.
Yeah, Exotic Plains also got a lovely toe from his teammate Blast. So AERT playing the team game at the start of this qualifying session, but he has just invalidated. So we'll go back on board with Radius, who is coming through the trickiest section of the track. You've got to fling it in, hope the car sticks, which it does very nicely. Use a tiny bit of entry curb, all the exit curb, comes to the line. What's it going to be for the BRT driver? P3 and 2 thousandths off of the FGE driver in P2. So the top 3 teams in the standings, all very close. No, sorry. Yeah, that is the top 3. No, it's not. Top 4 in the standings, sorry. All covering the top 4, once again, showing their beautiful, amazing class this season.
Welsh Jack crossed the line 3.5, but invalidated on the final corner, so he would have gone up to P4 there. Welsh Jack, he did get a toe off his teammate who was coming to the pits. That is Stanners, who is currently P2 on the front row of the grid. Kenyon's on an in-lap. Radius on an in-lap. Lighty is into the pits. You've got Torpen is on a lap here, no toe from his teammate. Looks like he might be actually on an in-lap as well, Torpen. So everyone's starting to come back into the pits. Exotic Plains has run out of ERS, he's invalidated. Welsh Jack also invalidated. I don't believe anyone, maybe Dracaris, who is down this time. No, I don't believe anyone's on a lap with them.
Yeah, I just saw Grumpy in the chat ask what Exotic's time was, even though he invalidated. It was a 4.77, apologies. So he would have been P4 just behind Radius. And something I missed there, Midzi went into P4 for TTM. So I was saying about the consistency, they need to build that up. They're doing that just fine tonight. 4th and 5th as we approach the start of the second runs. But very solid bankers from the TTM boys. But crucially, they have the FGE car of Stanners ahead of them. And that's really who they need to be aiming to beat to stake their claim to the title.
Not bad. I didn't even know Exotic Plains did that time for his invalidated, so not too bad. AERT, you know, they're turning up this season. I think they're currently P3, but they're not doing too bad. And if they have a good couple of races here and TTM and FG fall off a little bit, you might be able to say it's a 3-way title race, or definitely putting the name in the mixer. So Dracaris, the only driver on a lap here. Ramon is out on an out lap, and Dracaris is down this time, so he's not even on a lap as well. So no one, 10 minutes to go, on a lap. You've got 18 of the 20 drivers in the pits. We've got a Haas on the way out now, which is Mr. Lighty, and he is going to be followed by Alfie as well. So drivers now starting to come back on the pits, and it is Ramon who is going to be starting the next hot lap.
Yeah, and while Ramon is the first driver on his out lap, we might as well mention AMS. Partick, I believe, started 18th last week and he finished P3. So absolutely amazing drive from AMS Partick, and getting AMS back in the fight for P6. They had a long slump of good results, to be completely honest, but they're back on form and hopefully they can carry that in tonight. And they are 8th and 9th at the moment, which is nice to see them back up there because they have had a difficult season. So very good to see AMS back up the front nearly.
AMS, arguably, now I'd like someone to work out for me, but I think they're one of the longest serving teams.
For sure.
On the console. Definitely in AEC, 100% in AEC, AMS are the longest serving. They were a thing before even I got into a team. I don't know about who's older than them still knocking about, if any of them, to be fair.
I think they might be the oldest, you know. Because when I made NRX in May 2021 and AMS were a thing way before that, and now we're coming to the end of 2023, it's a solid 3 or 4 years they've been going, and it just shows they've never given up. They've always been there or thereabouts, never gone too bad, never let it get to them, and they've always fought through it. And here they are back again. Ramon on his lap, coming through the middle sector, flinging it in the left, just avoiding the entry curb, using all the exit curb, 44.5, 1/10 up. Currently on course to get into the mix, going in P6 if he can nail this final sector. He does have a McLaren ahead of him, and that's going to be a big distraction. Does he get out of the way? Yes, he does, but it's definitely put him off a bit. Slightly more cautious than he wanted to be. He uses all the exit curb. That was actually very nice from Amon. Comes to the line, P6, 1 minute 3.609.
That penultimate corner, final corner, little combination there. Ramon absolutely nailed it, even with a bit of a distraction with the yellow flags as well. So drivers now coming out on track. Stanners brushes past Ramon there on the straight. Just about half a tenth up in his time, and he's going to get a tow from his teammate here, Mr. Wells Jack. So Stanners all the way down the back straight here, getting a lovely tow. Absolutely superb teamwork, and it looks like Blast might be getting a tow as well from his teammate on the next straight as well. So back and forward with Stanners, and he's halfway through his lap. You've got Blast about to be getting a tow from his teammate of Exotic Plains. Back and forward with Stanners though as he enters sector 3. Is this about to jump Blast? Do you know what? He's 3/10 up on his time. Core fucking blimey, son. Mr. Stanners on an absolute mega lap here. He is on the green and he goes for the penultimate corner, keeps it valid on the exit. Now enters the final corner and he keeps it valid on the exit. DRS activated, Stanners to the line, and it's provisional with a free flat over to Blast Loveland.
Yeah, Blast, he's not up on his time. He's 2/10 down on FGE Stanners middle split, so he's going to need a Max Verstappen at Monaco-esque final sector, and it's only 2 real corners. He flings it in the right, a bit cautious, uses all the exit curb, clipping the inside, running as wide as possible. There's a car sideways, but who cares? Blast comes to the line. He improves into the 2.2s, but it's 2/10 off of Stanners with an absolute worldy lap to put FGE back on pole.
Absolute mega. Mr. Radius currently at P4. He is over a 10th up on his time. Might be able to get himself onto the front row as it stands. Got a car on his right hand side, but Radius here on a really good lap. I don't know if it's quick enough to catch Stanners, but it's definitely quick enough to get ahead of Blast. Goes into P3, almost into P2. Blast stays there in P2. Anyone else on the lap? Midzi a 10th up on his time after sector 1. Looks like he got Kenyon's toe there. So I think Midzi might be the next driver to watch here.
Yep, Neon just went P5 for BRT, so they're definitely in the mix tonight. Lighty actually went into P2 initially, but got eclipsed by Stanners and Radius, so IRT in the mix, which is good to see. And yeah, Midzi is on a lap coming through, the tricky left-hander, now using all the exit curb once again, and he's on a good lap. He's a 10th up, currently on course to get in the mix with that top 3 as Welsh Jack goes P5 for FGE. So once again showing his class that he has done all season, and now Midzi flings it in the right. He bottoms out on the curb, but it's a great save, but it's ruined his momentum for the whole final sector, and he's backed out, and that will be no improvement for Midzi. And TTM, that's not good for their title hopes, because FGE are 1-5. And no
here comes
improvement
Exotic
for
Plains,
either TTM
Loveland. He
driver.
goes into P6 there. He got a lovely tow from Blast. Blast is back into the pits, but Exotic Plains goes into P6 there. Neon looks like his lap is done. Midzi is obviously on an in lap as well. Torpen comes into the pits, and I think that is everyone's penultimate runs done, with Stanners ahead of the field by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, that's going to take some beating, and I assume he did get a tow as well. So good teamwork once again from the FGE boys. But 0.0, 0.2 ahead of the initial pole sitter. Yeah, very impressive from Stanners. An absolute baton or marker to lay down for the rest of the grid. And there's just so many teams in the top 10 at the moment. Unfortunately, AMS didn't improve their position there in 10th and 11th, but they have 2 cars right next to each other, so good for strategy. We've actually got Nice Tatty on a lap at the moment. Lighty, his teammate, in P4 for IRT, which you have to say, considering their position in the standings, is a very strong showing. And Nice Tatty is a 10th up. Can he get in the mix with his teammate? He's going to need a worldy final sector if he wants to get anywhere close to that 103.3. But let's see how committed he is through the final sector. A massive crank of steering lock, and he does the same through the final corner. A bit scruffy, but what's the time going to be? A 1 minute 3.916. He moves up to P15.
P15 for him. The top 10 is very close, and then you just go to the leader there, Stannis. To be fair, there's not often where a tier 1 pole time is ahead of tier S. It doesn't happen often. It really doesn't, and he's still got one more run in him as well, which is interesting to see. Can he get into the 2s?
What was pole yesterday?
It was a 3.1. However, it did start raining with about 5 minutes to go.
We'll put a little asterisk next to that then. But...
Yeah, it was about 5 minutes to go, so they definitely would have improved. But yeah, it was a 3.1.
I mean, you can see. Sorry to buy in. You can even see in the chat. I mean, people saying 0.0 is madness. Everyone's hyping up Stanners, so it's evidently an absolute brilliant lap. So it's going to take a lot of beating on this final run. But we've got cars coming out now, and this is what all matters. The final run, and you leave nothing on the table.
Apparently, now, I don't know if Baldy's trolling there, but apparently Stanners' PB is a 2.8. Woo! I don't know if he's trolling.
I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see that as well. And he is out on track, and he just peaked. Maybe that's his PB that he's just done there. I don't know. I was trolling. He did troll. Do you know what? Come back in 10 minutes. Come back in 10. So Stanners is back on track. We probably don't even have to watch him to be. Well,
I feel like we have to.
Well, yeah.
If he does a 2.8, I'd like to be on board with it. We have to.
No, it's trolling. That's why he's banned. Baldy is banned.
No, you never know. No, I'm joking.
No.
Last is the car in the top 3 that is the first on the lap. So he'll be the one we'll be on board with, I assume. But yeah, I'll let you take it away for this final run.
I think, who is the next? Blaster's going to be the first driver here. Interesting that Blaster's going to be the first driver. Oh, he's invalidated. Is that going to invalidate this next?
Oh, that will. I think that will. We'll have to see as he comes across the line.
Oh, no,
he's
it won't.
Lucky. He's a lucky boy.
He's a lucky boy. So Mr. Blast entering turn 1, entering out turn 2. This is not where you gain your time in sector 1. It is not where you gain all your time. You gain all your time in sector 2 and the end of sector 3. So sector 1 is all about putting a good one in there, and he's half a tenth up on his time. He still needs to find another 2 tenths, and that is going to help him here because his teammates, Mr. Exotic Planes, who's currently sat in P7, Greenhorn's retired. He is retiring. He's crashed, has he? He's crashed out. He has crashed out. Blasto with a nice toe there from his teammate, and so he needs to find 2 tenths of a second. He might just be settling for P2 at this rate. Let's see what his time is though as he comes round now, entering sector 3. How much is he up in his time? And he is up just under a tenth of a second. He still needs to find another tenth of a second. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. That's one of the Mercedes, and you know he's going to have to go penultimate corner, final corner. Can Blast do it? I don't know if he can, but he's going to improve on his time. Nevertheless, round the final corner, DRS activated, Blast to the line, and he stays in P2, but he does improve by a tenth and a half.
Yeah, great lap from Blast. Doesn't eclipse Stanners, who is 3 tenths down on his time. Had a big moment in the middle sector. So no improvement for the FGE pole sitter at the moment. BRT Radius is a tenth up, so he could be getting in the mix for the front row. He's coming through the final 2 corners now. Looks very nice, very clean, using all the exit curb. A tiny clip of the inside curb, runs as wide as you possibly can. Comes to the line, a 1 minute 3.161, and unfortunately cannot improve on that position. As Midsi also into P4.
So Midsi into P4, Neon's lap is done. He's going to settle for P5 at best. Lighty was up in his time after sector 2. You got Welsh Jack a 10th up after sector 1. Absolute car park city on Spielberg now. Welsh Jack is going to get a toe off Stanners. I think Stanners is safe there. And Lighty finishes. He does not improve in his time, stays P6. Welsh Jack, though, gets a nice toe off Stanners. Maybe Welsh Jack can put himself at the top of the grid here. Maybe not going to get Stanners, but front row of the grid is definitely possible. Blast, that's the end of his session. Radius, end of his. Midzi as well, the end of his session. But I think it's Welsh Jack, really, who's 2 tenths up in his time after sector 2. Enter sector 3 now, and Welsh Jack has got enough in the bag here to maybe make it an FG 1-2, which will be absolutely mega for the championship because TTM there, P4 and P10 as Welsh Jack to the line. He goes P4, improving his time by over 1.5 tenths.
Yeah, but what a close session. Stanners' second lap was enough for pole. unfortunately, couldn't improve. Didn't see that 2.8, the magical 2.8 that doesn't exist. But Stanners is on pole, Blast P2 and Radius in P3. And three different teams in the... There's three different teams in the top three. And Midzi for TTM just there or thereabouts, not letting them get away too easy. But we've got a good race ahead of us. A lot of different teams, a lot of different drivers, all different teams, I should say, next to each other. So going to be exciting.
That's what you like to see. That is what you like to see. I mean, everyone's done decent there, to be fair. You know, FG 1-4, you've got ART 2-8, you've got Bunga 3 and 6, TTM 5 and 10. Like the top four teams in the championship, both their drivers are in the top 10.
This is true, but you have to say
that is true. That is true. Yeah.
FGE, you're welcome. But FGE again showing their class because they are the championship leaders and they are the team who have the second driver highest. So, you know, consistency does win titles, and obviously you've got Stanners on pole and then Welsh Jack in P4, and compare that to AERT in P2 and then Exotic down in P8. So, yeah, consistency does win titles, and that's kind of FGE's motto this season because both drivers have been amazing every week. But I'll let you run through the order.
I just got a notification that VAR are checking something. Oh yeah, Stanners is on pole position. Blast in P2, Raiders P3, Welsh Jack in 4. Then you've got Midzi in 5, Neon Lollipops in 6, Lighty 7, Exotic Plains in 8, who won last week, Alfie 9, Kenyon in 10, Torp in 11, Ramon in 12, the Turbo Man in 13. Then it is as followed there, Yvance, Nico, Elite, Yassine, Tati, Dracaris, and Greenhorn, who crashed out. No one's helping me. So it doesn't look like I'm getting any updates. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Right,
Speaking
we'll
of
be
VAR,
back in a
Tom.
minute. Ready up in a minute.
Save that for the safety car, actually.
Yeah, Robbie, we'll be back shortly in a minute, lads. Don't ready up too early, thanks. Hello guys, I hope you enjoyed the little intermission break that we had. So, strategy. We didn't have a dry start yesterday, so I don't really know that the strategy needed, or I don't really have any information on it. However, hards seem to be the tyre majority. Well, all the top 5 are starting on here. Only Neon looking at the mediums in the top 8. And then there's quite a lot of medium runners at the back end of the grid. It's a mixture, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think hards, starting on the hards is unfortunately the strategy for most tracks at this game when it's dry, obviously. So not really going to see much difference. A few of the guys at the back maybe want to take a risk or two. But if Kieran is correct saying the rain is halfway through the race, it's a no-brainer to start on the hards, try and brave it out until as long as them tyres will go and wait for the rain. But we're not going to know, to be honest, until it actually comes. But as you said earlier, the sky doesn't look too cloudy, so I think we might be all right, but we'll see.
So you can definitely start readying up, lads. I've got my water now. I'm all ready.
Yeah, please ready up.
Let's do this, lads. It looks like we're 0-0 after 30 minutes. Great.
No VAR intervention.
No, they were checking something. I don't know what they were checking, but it said they were checking something.
It's a dodgy old system, that, isn't it? Bloody hell.
Oh, hello, Joseph. Welcome in, mate. How's decorating your room going, son? You know. Right, people can start readying up. Let's do it. Because I'm ready.
Well, you don't have to, but please do.
No. Let's ready up. I want to watch the rest of the game.
We had this at round 4 as well, where no one would ready up, and then when we least expected it, whoosh, just happened.
It happened yesterday as well.
Yeah, I wish we had the bloody countdown.
Do you not believe me? I do believe you, Joseph. I saw your picture.
Grumpy said it changes weather twice, so I think
I
we
like
are
the
actually in for some
anticipation
rain.
of the weather.
Yeah, I do. You never know who to trust. You never know. Some people could be playing some games.
Dry, wet to dry. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I like that.
Right then. You can definitely start to ready up now, lads.
Please!
I want to watch the last bit of the footy. At any point, lads. At any point. You can ready up.
Are they expecting like a ping on Discord or something? Or what's...
Yeah, but look, I'll start typing. You ready? Watch. Right, I'm gonna have to load up Discord. What?
It's
I'm
gonna
just gonna
start
talk you
as
through
soon
it.
as you
Watch.
load up Discord.
I'm gonna load up Discord now. I'm loading. Oh, it's loading. Now I need to find the AEC server, which I've found. Then I need to go to Tier 1 announcements, which I am doing now. Tier 1 announcements, I'm in. And now I click ready up. Tier 1. Esports driver. Done. Perfect.
I kind of hoped they would have read it up halfway through you doing that, but...
I kind of thought they would, but they didn't. Oh,
Hey!
no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're away and racing. Looks like someone's bogged down, and that person who's bogged down is Mr. Blast. He has bogged down massively. Radius goes past him. Now he's got the inside well stacked around the outside of him. It's going to be carnage in the turn 1, but Blast loses another position. He's landed 2 positions into P4. Midsy's got a good view of this one. You've got Lighty and Near Lollipops going wheel to wheel into turn 3. There you go, Mr. Leon Lollipops. Oh my God, that's a dive bomb. Who's that in between them? It's Mr. Lighty as well. They're going to go 4 wide, Lovelands.
Yeah, actually a really good move from Neon. Got it slowed down, and now side by side with Lighty coming out of that turn 3. Midsy unfortunately had to run wide. He's down to Knight. Lighty goes round the outside. Can he hold it? There's contact, but he's pushed wide. Neon gets the position, and BRT have had a great start. P2, P5, but it's FGE once again showing their worth. P1 and P3, and Welsh Jack is right up behind Radius.
What a start that is. Yeah, Mr. Blast, it looks like he just missed it. Someone just gone off there. No, he's not. I'm dreaming it. Yeah, Blast just didn't... I think he just missed the start. I don't know if he was, daydreaming a little bit, but he lost 2 positions and he just stood still when the lights went out. So, after lap 1, Stanners is still leading the way. Position changes, though. Minty's down 4 positions. Greenhorn is up 2 positions, and 2 positions is the most someone's gained on lap 1, and that is Mr. Greenhorn. Started P20, he's up to P18.
Yeah, Lighty going for the move as well on Neon. He's on the medium tyres, the fresher rubber. So if there is rain coming, he's willing to take the gamble on the mediums up to P5. So good strategy at the moment from Lighty. Alfie also for AMS on their medium tyres, as well as SLR Torpern. But yeah, as you said, only 2 positions. The biggest change, I think, Midzy, he's also lost 4 actually. So yeah, more losers than gains. But yeah, very close racing, and we are going to have DRS next lap. It comes round so quickly here, and that if it does get enabled, we have a DRS train from P1 to P20. So lovely.
Mr. Green on the soft tyres, I did just say that. He's going to be on the back of Yassine very soon. So maybe he didn't see the rain coming in, or who knows. Still blue clouds at the moment, maybe. No, it still looks blue clouds at the moment. But hey, what do I know? So, Stanners leading the way, Radius into P2. Lighty, the top medium runner at the moment. He needs to make the strategy work, starting on the mediums if he can. Like you said, it's now a big DRS train. Overtakes are going to be limited.
Yeah, Exotic Planes, I'm just on board with him. He's trying to defend from Alfie, but also attack Neon, and he's using a lot more battery than the cars around him, so he does need to be careful. And once again, he burns coming out of turn 3, but not going to be close enough as Radius is just 1/10 behind Stanners. And let me correct myself, he's side by side with Stanners. Stanners using all the track on the exit and keeps the position, but Radius wants to get in the lead, wants to get try and break away from Stanners, or just switch with Stanners, get as much pace out of the two cars as possible, but no switches as of yet as we go through the first lap of DRS running.
This is what you want to see. This is close racing. It really is. It has not been a great start for TTM, let me tell you. P9 and P11 for them. They're currently sat in P2, and with FGE now currently 1 and 3, they are going to, at the moment, I know we're on lap 4 of 36, but mathematically they're going to be pulling a huge distance. BRT though currently sat P4 in the championship. And here we go then, Mr. Radius Lovelands.
Yeah, going for the move because Jack was putting pressure on, and now Jack's going to send it up the inside as well. Do they get through cleanly? Yes, they do. No, they don't. Welsh Jack pushed them both wide, and Lighty goes through into P2. He might even fancy the lead. Lighty on the medium tyres sends it up the inside of Jack, and our new race leader is Lighty as Radius goes down the inside of Welsh Jack. They make contact as well, and BRT Radius into P2, and the FGE drivers have had a mare. Welsh Jack going too deep at turn 3 as he gives Radius a tap. It's all going wrong, and that Standards has gone through. I'm going to lose my breath.
Bloody hell, this is absolutely carnage. It looked like Mr. Radius got a tap there from, it might have been Welsh Jack. I can't remember. It was one of McLaren's anyway. This is good though. This is, you know, it's relatively clean. Oh, who's that? Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! And you know what, lads? Can't park there, sir. You can't park there.
Oh, and we've got a safety car as well. And we said FGE would need a stinky race for the title race to get closer. And there is the free ticket for the other teams. Very, very interesting indeed.
Safety car overlay is on, lads, as you can see. Mr. JT putting in the work for that. Yeah, that changes things, that.
I mean, it's a very unnecessary, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if you saw offboard, Tom, that incident at turn 3. Welsh Jack just going too deep trying to get past Radius. Yeah. And he ended up pushing Radius and his teammate off. And look how that's ended up. So maybe a bit silly, a bit too early on from FGE. And they've unfortunately paid the price. And FGE Rage in the chat saying words will be had. So bit of a disaster class from FGE at the moment. But yeah. This is definitely a big opportunity for the teams like AERT, like BRT, and TTM, who are admittedly, as you said, not having a great race, but they are still going to maybe gain on FGE if it keeps going this way. So the title race is definitely going to close a bit.
I think so, FJ. I do think so, mate. Because no one else lost time behind them when, you know, if there was a collision behind him, you might have seen like, but no one lost time behind him. It looked like he just lost it on his own, if I'm being totally honest. So yeah, people are pit. I've missed that.
Yeah, sorry, so have I. Just reading the chat.
Why the fuck is he on intermediates? Because it doesn't look like it's raining to me, son.
Well, I think that confirms the chat's beliefs that it is going to rain, because Kenyon's taken an absolute gamble on the intermediates. I mean, on my screen it's bone dry, but I have to admit the clouds have come over, so the rain might be closer than we think. Maybe his engineer's telling him something. But you know what, Tom? They've got nothing to lose. They're having a pretty shocking race as it stands. They were in P9, P11. Yes, there is points, but imagine if this pays off. He's going to be P1 by a country mile. So I like it. I like a bold strategy, and we'll see how it turns out. But it's very, very bold.
I like it. I do like it. However, the P2 in the championship, the
Yes.
team that are leading the championship now only have one driver. Why on earth? I know he was P10, P11. Safety car's in.
Ooh,
I've got to question
yes.
it.
I'm
going
to go back on what I said.
I have got to question that. If it was maybe like, you know, who's bottom of the league? LMFJ. I'd understand that.
Yeah.
But second in the championship? Who the hell is that overtaking everyone?
Ross?
What's happened there?
He's pit, but
Yeah, he just
I don't
overtook
know if
everyone.
is that allowed?
I thought a Ferrari went past everyone then.
Oh, it's raining! It's raining!
You're
This
joking.
could be. I'm not joking. Kenyon has crossed the line and it has started raining. if it rains a lot, Kenyon could be in the driving seat here to win this race.
Oh,
so he just
no.
has to keep it on. He has to keep the tyres in the right window because they're going to be burning up for the next few laps. But if he can keep them going, he's going to come out as the net race leader. This is good.
Mr. Kenyon, he might be leading the race. Do you know what I take it back? What a strategy! Absolutely
Never doubted it. Never doubted it.
Strategy down at TT. You know what? Perfect strategy. Cool. Yeah, I mean, Greenhorn, he overtook 19 cars there. But yeah.
You've still got the safety car overlay on, by the way.
Oh shit, yeah, I do. Well done, thank you.
That's right.
Take me round. What's happening while I take it off?
Right, let's go aboard. Exotic Planes has actually just got past Neon, so I think people are starting to struggle on their tyres already because Exotic Planes up into P5 and AER. Oh, Spanners are spun! FGE Spanners are spun out the fight, penultimate corner. I can't believe it. FGE have come crumbling down. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. AMS Ramon has sped in the pit lane. I think Stanners tried to get the pit entry, but he had so much speed that he lost the rear. And both FGE drivers are in the mud. One's out the race, one's spun and going to be so far behind. He's put the intermediates on. Kenyon is so far up the road. If it's time for inters, FGE have done it the wrong way. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I mean, some people call him FGE Stanners, but today he is FGE Spanners. Let me tell you, because that was silly. He is now spun into the pits. He's behind Ramon. Mr. Yvant comes out in last, but they're all in the inters. It is starting to get a bit greasy on the track here. Let me tell you, Lighty sliding through the corners. Mr. Radius as well. Core blimey, this is starting to get spicy. What a race this has been. ART licking their lips currently. BRT as well. They're currently in the top 5. They've both got 2 drivers in the top 5, but they are going to have to double stack. No, they're not. Blast is staying out, and Neon is also staying out. What are they doing, Loveland?
Yeah, that's a bold strategy. We saw how much time Lighty lost alone in that final sector. He was losing the rear all over the place. And someone actually worth mentioning, Lighty, because he did start on the mediums and the strategy has paid off perfectly. And Tom, look at TTM Kenyon. He comes through turn 1 and there is no one behind him. He's got about a 10-second gap to the car behind him. This could be the race that TTM were after tonight. He was down in P11. Some doubted the strategy. Some said it was possibly amazing, and it's turning out to be amazing. And look who's in net P2, Ross Greenhorn. I can't believe what we're seeing. It's absolute chaos. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Do you know what? I love being wrong there because I said it was a horrific strategy call, and it could have been, but it's not. It's turned out to be absolutely brilliant. Superb strategy call. Mr. Greenhorn is currently net P2. He is now net P3. Is probably going to be net P4 because you've got Radius all over him, and Radius is no longer all over him. He's on the inside. Greenhorn goes wide. Radius stays behind him. Blighty stays in P2 as it stands. Neon and Blast come in, but they're going to lose a lot of time from the inter runners who are behind them, undercutting them.
Yeah, so I was just looking at the gap to the leader, Tom, and if you keep an eye on Blast and Neon, I think they're going to come out around P12, P13, just because of how much time they're going to lose on the wet track, on the dry tyres. So let's see if my prediction's anywhere near being right. But you can see already cars flying past. There goes Lighty going up to turn 1 now. And look at them dropping down the order already. They're going to come out just in front of the Williams, I think, so around P10. But that is a lot of lost time. And look at the gap they have ahead. They're going to have a lot of work to do if they want to get back in that race for the win. As we've got on board with Exotic Planes, actually, because he's the next one to get past Greenhorn. Goes into P4. And we've got a three-way battle for P2 now between Lighty, Radius, and Exotic Planes.
Cool. I mean, I don't really think Neon and Blast had much to do there. It was either double stack and lose time or stay out and lose time.
Yeah.
So they couldn't really win in that situation. Maybe double stacking might have lost them more time. It's hard to say. Bloody hell, bit of contact there. As Mr. Neon, opportunist he is, he's going to try and go past Ramon. Does get past Ramon. Blast got the elbows out there, let me tell you. And now Neon and Blast, currently P8 and P9, might need to try and work together if they can. However, they are battling because FGE are currently they've got no drivers in the points.
Yeah, and TTM are leading, and yeah, 50 points behind, I believe, in the standings, and they're going to gain an absolute fuck ton if it carries on this way. But if you look at the gap from Kenyon to Lighty, he's gaining about 7/10 a lap in the wet. So give it, what, 10 laps? He's going to be near the back of Kenyon. So it's definitely going to spice up. And if we've got the dry weather coming, it's definitely a battle to keep an eye on.
Lighty is starting to catch Kenyon, but he has got such a big lead. It's actually unreal. Fair play. Whoever called that, I want to eat my words. Midzi, though, going past Alfie as well. And what didn't look like a good start for TTM, let me tell you, they're currently P1 and potentially P5 if Midzi can get past Alfie here. He is currently alongside of him. And he's making wheel contact. He lock wheels a little bit. Alfie's going to stay ahead. He's going to have the inside line. Midzi around the outside. Can Midzi hold it? I don't know if he can because Alfie up the inside makes more contact. They're keeping it clean just about. And it looks like Midzi might have to back out. No, he doesn't have to back out. Round the outside. They're still going wheel to wheel. Midzi and Alfie through the whole of Sector 2, Sector 3. Penultimate corner coming up. One of these drivers needs to back out, and that driver's Midzi.
Yeah, what a move round the outside of the penultimate corner, and AMS Alfie having the race of his life. He started P9. AMS, as I said, needed to carry that momentum on from Hungary, and they're doing just that. Alfie in P5 with a charging Midzi for TTM just behind him in P6. But yeah, this is definitely the battle to keep an eye on. Greenhorn has just had a massive moment. You can't park there, sir. He's going down to P9, and after all that hard work with the strategy, I think Greenhorn is really struggling on these intermediates. But he is hoping for his sake he can keep it on the road. But yeah, difficult time for Mr. Greenhorn.
So here we go then, lap 12 of 36. Kenyon is starting to get caught here massively by Lighty. The gap is now under 8 seconds. So definitely need to keep an eye on that as the rain keeps tumbling down. Lighty P2, then you've got Radius and P3 because that's it. Plains goes wide there. Might have got himself a warning. Turbo Man is losing positions and he's lost more positions. Stanner's now up into the point. Well, I'll say the point. He's into the point. He's currently P14. So where he was at the top of the leaderboard, he's now at the back of the points. But he's starting to catch into the back of Tati as well. So Stanner's rescue mission.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the lap times from the leaders. TTM Kenya did a 14.8. Lighty did a 13.7. So a second a lap we're gaining at the moment as Lighty runs wide. He has a moment. He gets a penalty, and that is not going to help his situation going forward in this race. Radius definitely sniffing a chance. Lighty struggling slightly, but doesn't want to go for the move just yet. But yeah, just praising Lighty for his pace gaining on the leader, and he's just had a bit of a moment at turn 1 and yeah, lost that position. Lost the... got a penalty, and now he's going to lose the position because Radius is going up the inside at turn 4, and it's a very nice move if he can keep it, which he does.
Just watching some moves happening in the midfield here between Ramon and Stanners. Stanners, he is on a bit of a rescue mission if he can. We've got a Ferrari battling as well, and that is Greenhorn pushing maybe Topin off track. Oh my goodness me! Stanners and the Ramon look like they glitched inside of each other for a second and caught behind me. Up the inside, Topin goes, and Greenhorn, Mr. Topin gets squeezed off a little bit, and Greenhorn battling for his life there in P9.
Yeah, I completely missed that. Was just reading the chat, but yeah, Greenhorn seems to be the cork in the bottle. We've got about 4 cars all queued up, 5 cars even queued up behind the who is in the Ferrari? IFE, I believe, of Mr. Greenhorn. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on this because Torpern is going to go for the move. It looks like Ross is using all the battery down the straight, and he's happy to keep that position. This is where he struggled, though, on the exit of turn 1. Can he keep it clean this time? It's a bit cautious, but he definitely does. And now the SLR driver is pushing him all the way up the straight. We've got CRE Yassin behind, also pushing him up the straight. And here he goes for the move up to turn 3. Lovely dive bomb. Does he get it slowed down? He has a big rear lock, actually. Goes wide, and Ross with the switchback keeps the position. Bit of a scruffy one from Mr. Torpern.
Mr. Yassin in 11 here. Yeah, this is good battling now. It is good battling. Look at the gap at the leaderboard. At the top of the leaderboard, you've got Kenyon Radius now almost below 5 seconds. It is pretty incredible how quick Radius is catching. Hang on.
That is a lot.
Yeah, no, it is really. It's like he's got damage or something. It's that much.
Yeah, he just gained about a second in the final sector there. I'll have a look at the lap time. Kenyon does a 16.1, so definitely a mistake in that final sector because he was 2 seconds slower. And for reference, Radius did a 13.2. So 3 seconds a lap at this current pace. So Kenyon's great strategy might come undone much sooner than we think. But it was definitely fun while it lasted.
It might be because of his tyre wear. Do you know when he started and it was like dry? He might have burnt his tyres out a lot. The tyre wear... Oh, Mr. Turboman causing yellows then for a second. But yeah, it might just be the tyre wear situation. Anyway, Greenlaw has been passed by Yassine. He's going to try it round the outside of him here. And if he can, not a lot of room left for him, no. And it looks like, oh, flying past him goes Stanners. Flying past him goes Torpen.
Yeah, he has a massive, massive amount of wheel spin. And he's lost positions to Greenhorn, sorry, I burped there. Tati, Stanners and Torpen. But yeah, Stanners after that spin, he is slowly making his way through the field. Not the most battery in the world, but he does have more than the SLR driver ahead of him. And crucially, he's got past Mr. Greenhorn, who seemed to be, as I said, the cork in the bottle, struggling more than most. So it'll be interesting to see how much progress Stanners can make. Not too much if he keeps doing that. Has a massive snap, has a second snap, and Mr. Greenhorn goes round the outside, back into P10. But Stanners, a very, very sloppy race so far.
Mr. Stanners, sorry, I burped then, lads. Mr. Ramon and Nikos, P15, P16. They're changing positions, back on board with Stanners as he's going to try it. Not into turn one. Surely not into turn one. Round the outside of Greenhorn. Into turn one. There's a bit of a contact. He does do it, but he went off track for it. He might need to give that position back potentially there. As Yassine now also making contact with Stanners. Wheel bumping all the way down the straight here. Who's this? Greenhorn sends it up the inside. Oh my God, Tati's gone off. It's absolute carnage here. Oh! Oh no! FG are in a wall again!
Oh my, yeah, I've just seen that on the stream because I'm on board with the battle for P3 at the moment. But yeah, Stanners, I think he's got damage this time. And I'm not actually sure what happened there, Tom. So when I'm done, you'll have to give me a quick rundown. But yeah, Exotic did get past Lighty while all that was going on. But yeah, just unfortunate for Mr. Stanners. But give me a rundown because I didn't quite see it.
It looked like it was just close racing. Greenhorn was obviously losing time to all the drivers behind him. They're obviously getting a bit risky. They're trying to make moves and get past him. Greenhorn wasn't given the room. He wasn't. There wasn't. It might have been 50-50. It might have been, you know, half and 6.5 and half a dozen other kind of thing. It would be. I'd like to see another clip of that. But it was definitely aggressive racing from both drivers. I think one was just getting fed up of getting overtaken. The other driver's getting fed up that he can't overtake. That's my my thoughts on it. Yeah, a clip would be nice. The lead at the top, though, almost below a second, Loveland.
Yeah, so Radius definitely the man to keep an eye on as we've got Mr. Greenhorn after all the carnage that's just ensued. He's decided to hang up the coat and he's retired in the pit lane. So unfortunate that we've lost another car from the race. Stanners in the pits, I assume, for a new wing, judging by how long he's sitting there. But yeah, let's try and chill out a bit because we've got a battle for P3. We've got Exotic versus Lighty, Alfie and Midzi now caught up, as well as Blast. So that early pace we saw from Exotic and Lighty has really fell off because all the cars behind him are right up behind him. We're going to see a big, big train forming. Got a battle in the mid-pack as well. Elite and F1 Nico for SLR. Very close race, and he sends it up the inside at a very unorthodox place, but doesn't quite pull off for the SLR driver. As the car ahead of him spins, Yasin is round for CRE, and got a lovely onboard shot of that from the Mercedes. But yeah, unfortunate for him as Radius has taken the lead on Kenyon. And that's because Kenyon spun! Oh, no, you can't park there, sir.
Whoa, copyright, Jeff. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, ref. Here we go then, Midzi up the inside. Looks like Lighty's left him so much room, you could have fit Greenhorn in there. Mr. Lighty, Midzi goes past him into P4. He goes, Alfie in P3. Midzi also trying to catch on. But this is really opening the door here for BRT and AERT with TTM and FG not really putting on a show today. Then again, TTM are P4, P8. But yeah, AERT and BRT having a good race here. Really are. He did spin, Kiwi, he did. Loveland caught that. I missed it, but yeah, it did spin. Mr. Tati and Ramon battling. Looks like they've had a good little ding-dong. We're on lap 18 of 36. We're halfway through the race. This has been really good.
It has, and we're only halfway, so it's only going to get better, you'd hope. But yeah, something on Lighty. You said he went wide, left all the room for Greenhorn to fit in. Yeah, he got on the exit curb and he bottomed out and just skated like Tony Hawk right up to turn 3 and couldn't get it turned in. So there's a little bit of analysis for you. But yeah, AMS Alfie, just an honourable mention. AMS second week in a row where they've been running in the podium. So very strong race at the moment from the AMS driver. Interesting to see if he can keep up because he has a hard charging Midzi who's burning all his battery up to turn 3. Will he go for a late lunge? It'll be brave in the wet. Has a bit of a look. Sends him deep. Alfie hopefully can get a good exit because Midzi is right up behind him. And I think he might be close enough to get a move done here because he has a big snap, does Alfie. And Midzi's going to go for the move. He goes left. He goes right. Will he send it up the inside? No, he backs out. Very sensible driving. Knows he doesn't have to rush. It's only halfway through the race.
I wonder how far these Inters can go. Can they do another 18 laps on them as Midzi slides through the corner there? Loses a bit of time on Alfie. I'll give you your ASMR when I feel like doing it, Dams. A radius penalty! Radius penalty!
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, that is huge. I'll have a quick look at the lap times between Radius and Exotic. Radius last time round did a 14.6 compared to Exotic's 14.8. So he does have the pace to pull 3 seconds, but you never know, as you said, how long these tyres will go. So it's going to be a close one. But yeah, Exotic Planes in the chat. Exotic 2 in a row, question mark. You have to say Exotic was having quite a miserable day, to be honest. He qualified far down. He wasn't really in the mix. And the rain's come and he's in P2 now. So yeah, strong turnaround for the AERT driver. But yeah, definitely a man to keep an eye on because he is now the man who can win this race. If he can keep in that 3-second gap. Doesn't have too much battery to his name, but I'm sure he's got a lot of will.
It might be potential wet conditions soon, to be honest, with how heavy it's coming down. And it looks like a lot of the drivers are aquaplaning. And all over the place has missed a blast right down inside of Lighty. Lighty's going to give more room as well. To be granted to Lighty, he does like to give room. I've noticed that, and he gives room and past blast goes. So yeah, Lighty clean. Oh, don't speak too soon, Tom. Don't speak too soon. I was about to say Lighty's a really clean driver. He is. Well done. Fucking heck. I thought I jinxed that then. Thought that was going to be a car park on the M6.
I think it is wet conditions. I think you are right. But we saw in the chat earlier, I forgot who exactly it was, but someone said it was wet and then it went dry again. So maybe the drivers are holding out for a bit of drier weather, don't want to switch to the wet tyres and just hold out on these intermediates for as long as they'll go. But I think it's definitely going to come down to what the weather does. It's so unpredictable here. As we know, it's dry one minute, it rains the next. So we'll see what the next turn is of this race.
Just going to read the chat for a sec. While it's gone a bit stalemate in the race, Alfie closest there. I saw Bell Roffix was in it. I think he's gone now. But he, Tier 1 champion of last season. I did see you. I just didn't read your messages. Timmy's in. Tonio, Dams is always here. Yeah, welcome in, lads. I hope you're enjoying the race. 54 people watching Tier 1 round 6. It's been a really good race, to be fair. And we've still got about 15, 16 laps to go. And it might be drying up according to everyone in the chat. So we've still got more racing to go here. Radius with that penalty is just about winning the race because he's ahead of Planes 3.4 seconds. But Alfie all on the back here of Exotic Planes. And yeah, I think it is definitely wet conditions. Do people gamble and put the wets on?
I mean, if you're a car towards the back for a Stanners, for example, you might as well take the gamble, to be completely honest. You've got nothing to lose, really. But going back to that battle up front, Exotic just is driving a bit too cautiously. He's lost 5 tenths alone this lap. Alfie is pushing him to the absolute limit. And I think we could see a change of position. Please interrupt.
Because look who's the one gambling to go into the wet tyres. Look who it is.
Oh, it's Mr. Kenyon once again. He loves it. He loves it. Well, let's see if it's as useful as the first one, but I think... Hold on. They're not wet.
That's shit, isn't it? But that just ruined everything there, hasn't it?
I don't know. I think that could be good. If it stays this weather, I think, you know, we know how big the tyre difference is this game. It can be seconds a lap. So if Kenyon can get them tyres up temperature, you know, get a few positions made, I think this could be good. But once again, we've been wrong once tonight. I'm sure we could do it again.
Yeah, let's see how he goes. Then Kenyon starting to make a move on Nico, and he's a bit of a tight line through there. Mr. Dracaris on the back of him, and they're going to go wheel to wheel. Kenyon and Nico currently sat in P11 and P12, and yeah, the tyre difference. Kenyon flies past him. He is though 30 seconds behind the leader with his spin and all that. But yeah, what's happened?
AMS Alfie's pitting as well, so a lot of people are going to be committing to this fresh Inter strategy. The top three, who are Radius, Exotic, and Midzi, and Blast in P4, stay out. But Alfie takes the risk. Lighty takes the risk. Will it be fresh Inters? Will it be wets? Who knows? I'd put my money on a fresh set of Inters, but you never really know. Someone could go bold.
It is Inters. For a second, I thought it was going to be wet tires as soon as you said that. That tickled me, that. Yeah, so people coming in for fresh Inters. Maybe it's not wet conditions. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, which is potentially very true. Radius, though, I don't think the leaders need to gamble here.
Well, if they might have to react to Alfie, because I'll keep an eye on his lap time, so you don't have to get the race director up and ruin the stream. But I'll keep an eye on him, see how quick he is compared to the leaders. But if Radius, with that penalty, remember Alfie only has to gain 2 exotic and then pull another second, and he wins the race. So definitely an interesting strategy, and we'll have to see, yeah, as I said, his lap times. But you can see already he's gaining tenths per corner on SLR Torpern, but then he's got 13 seconds of absolute nothingness to try and catch this lead in pack. So it's going to be very interesting. He's definitely the man to watch in this final stint.
Yeah, I've just flicked it over to gap to leader. He is really catching. Someone has just had an awful exit there, and I believe that's Exotic Plains out of the final corner. Yeah, he did. He had a really bad exit. But yeah, I'm on board with Alfie here as he comes around the final corner himself. He is catching rapidly. When I flicked it on gap to leader, it was over 23 seconds behind Radius. It is now 21.5. So Alfie is flying on these new Inters here, and it looks like he's undercut. Who's he undercut there? Midzi.
Midzi. Massive undercut as well. He's nearly 3 seconds clear of Midzi, and Midzi was the car just pushing him through each corner. So let's just use that as a reference. Alfie on cold intermediates has gained 2 seconds on that lap alone on Midzi. That's Lighty and Midzi now go side by side. Lighty on the fresh Inters. He was the first man to take the gamble, I believe. And no, he wasn't. He was the second man to take a gamble after his teammate. But, yep, Midzi going to try and hang it around the outside. And this is ruining his race, to be completely honest, because he's not going to get that effect of the undercut if the leaders do decide to pit. And we'll go on board with the leaders. Yes, they do. Radius is pitting. So this changes everything. He goes very wide on pit entry, almost too wide. And look who's staying out. Both AERT cars staying out. They're committing to the long game. See if they can hang on to this and get a 1-2. It's going to be a very exciting end to this race. AERT versus, well, everyone else.
This is what you want to see, though. Strategy. I think in real life F1, strategy is huge. Ignore like Verstappen and everything. Strategy is massive, and I feel like it should be implemented more. Maybe like, you know, making it mandatory where you can change a rule where you've got to pit twice and stuff like that. It just makes it interesting. It's not all about raw pace and, you know, who can get good exits and all that. It is a strategy game as well. And at the moment, AERT, as Loveland said, is them versus everyone else. We've got battles on track here, and I think it's Mr. Midzi and Lighty going wheel to wheel, and Midzi's back ahead of Lighty. Look at that though, AERT 1-2, Bunga 3-4. Alfie though, 13 seconds now behind Exotic Plains. He is catching.
Yeah, I mean, look at the gap he's got to Radius. He was 5 seconds behind going into the pits, and he's come out. Basically, I know DRS isn't enabled, but for the sake of reference, he is within DRS range. So 4.5 seconds gained on that 2-lap undercut. But yeah, as we know, once the tyres get to, I think, 20%, 25%, they drop off quite substantially. So it's going to be interesting to see if Alfie can keep that pace on. But we know Radius has a penalty, so all he has to do is stay within 3 seconds for these last 10 laps, and the win will go to AMS, which would be quite something, you'd have to say.
It's going to be interesting. There are 10 laps to go. Alfie, it looks like Exotic Plains, Blast and Neon are just going to stay out now. I feel like if they pit, they've lost too much time. I feel like they've missed the window. They're just going to have to stick it out. Teamwork going on at ART. It looks like Blast has been passed. Exotic Plains has been passed by Blast. Easy for me to say. As Ramon is into the pits after doing 18 laps on them intermediates. People are saying it's going to dry up here. It does not look like it's going to be drying up anytime soon here. If anything, it's going to get more wet. Yeah, so Alfie now, 9.5 seconds. He's catching rapidly.
Yeah, I was just looking at the lap times, as I said I would. Exotic Plains last lap, 16.8. Alfie for AMS, a 13.8. 3 seconds per lap they are gaining on the leaders. And look, as you said, the gap is what? 9 seconds. We've got 10 laps left. They'll be far gone up the road. They might even get another pit stop if they fancy it. So, but what's that old saying? Passing is one thing, overtaking is another. And in wet conditions, that's obviously much more difficult. So we'll have to see what this comes down to. But look at the pace they've got compared to the leaders. Radius is gaining 3 tenths a corner. So, yeah, very exciting end to this race. Right.
The one thing that Blast has, though, that the other drivers don't, he's got protection.
That's true. Always use protection.
He has got his teammate, Exotic Planes, right in behind him as protection here. And they've got 9 laps to go. Yellow flag for Stanners. Oh my God, this is a race to forget for FGE here.
Yeah, and I didn't see what happened, but yeah, he's coming into the pits.
That might be it for FGE, this race.
We'll keep an eye on it. Will he retire in the pit lane? He slows it down normally. But a long day in the office for FGE. Maybe, he's not going to be stealing fastest lap, is it? That's a dry lap. So, I don't know. I think Sanders is just doing some testing now. Nothing really to fight for. So, a shame. But I think we're definitely going to get a heated up title battle after tonight, especially if the result ends like this.
So, Radius has started to catch on to the back of his teammate. Neon will definitely let him go, but I don't know, he's definitely not going to let Alfie go, which will help AART. Maybe Neon needs to play the game here. I know maybe he doesn't want to slow down Alfie. Maybe he wants to get Alfie in the mix and cost AART points. That's interesting to see. How they want to play that, really. Maybe they're not just going to let him pass, but you know what I mean. Alfie might be the man to stop AART because Radius has a penalty. It's all, strategy and if, buts and maybes, but Radius does have protection of Neon if they want to use it. Obviously, there'll be an engineer letting them know what they want to do and all that. But yeah, Bunga, 2 penalties, ART don't have a penalty, and Alfie sat at P5, it's 5 seconds behind now. Here we go.
Yeah, and crucially, he's going to be behind Neon in the middle sector, which is traditionally the tough place to overtake, but he goes wide, and Alfie... Whoa, I just got desynced. That was very scary. On my screen, Alfie just absolutely sideswiped Neon, but we're all good. Alfie gets the move done into P4, now has to close that gap as much as he can. But look at Radius. He's on the back of the AERT boys already. I also see Kieran in chat saying, what's fastest lap? That is Lighty with a 6.5. So IRT will almost definitely be taking home the fastest lap point tonight. But it's all coming to this now. Lap 28 going on to lap 29. Radius right up behind Exotic Planes, and Exotic has to defend like a lion.
Apparently, that glitch is because he paused it, and the car went past him as he paused it. What Oakley's saying. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
But here we go then. Radius on the back of Exotic Planes. Exotic Planes needs to keep Radius behind for as long as he can, and Radius can outbrake Exotic Planes by a mile. Flies past him there, and he looks like Radius is now going to be on the back of Blast soon. And that protection that Blast had, cool, blimey, that was not very well done.
No,
to be totally honest.
Yeah, there's just so much more grip, so much more braking power ability. It's ridiculous. I mean, look, Radius did a 13.3, Exotic did a 16.3, so he's still comfortably 3 seconds a lap quicker than these guys. I don't know. It's a very bold strategy staying out, but I mean, even if you look further down the field, people like Midzi, people like Lighty, they're all gaining just as much. So this is either going to be a double podium for AERT or absolutely nothing as Midzi gets a penalty. And that is something in their favour, AERT. No penalties as of yet, whereas most people around them do, besides AMS Alfie, who typically, or I should say conveniently, is on the back of Exotic. But Radius is going for Blast. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, AERT, they've still got a chance to get both drivers in the top 4. That is possible because Neon, we've got a yellow flag. I think Torpin's gone off. Yeah, the AERT have still got a chance to get both drivers in the top 4 here. Exotic Planes needs to be careful. Doesn't want to make his tyres wear any more because it does help him as Radius now is in the P1 and that kind of inevitable now, to be honest. Blast, he just needs to bring the car home. Don't battle for the lead. The lead's gone, mate. Radius should probably now just bring this home. He does have a penalty, but he'll pull away. AERT just need to bring home a 2-4, and they'll be happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been Blast moving a bit under braking, which is why I got a bit wincy there. But yeah, Radius getting the move done out of turn 3. And AMS Alfie, look at the gap to the lead, 2.8 seconds. This is almost Lando Norris for his first podium, where it all came down to the delta with the Lewis and Hamilton's penalty ahead. So Alfie really needs to get a move on. But again, I have to say it, what a race from him so far. Started down in, I think, P9, P10, and clawed his way up to P3, and currently in the mix for a win. So very impressive. And carrying on the momentum that AMS showed in Hungary with that podium. So yeah, staking their claim for maybe a potential top 5, but he runs very wide, and that's not going to help his case because he is outside the 3-second gap.
We're in another situation here. Neon Lollipop slowing down Midzi. Maybe he just wants to let him go. Let Midzi go and catch the ART boys. You know what I mean? I know you're going to lose position yourself, but fighting a driver that's got 14, 15 laps newer tyres than you is not the strategy. You kind of just need to let these drivers go and try and catch on to exotic planes if you can. They're the team you're battling. You're battling AERT, you're not really battling Lighty. However, he is battling Lighty, and he's battling him very hard. But Lighty does eventually get past him. Yeah, Neon needs to try and bring it home now in P7 if he can, and he needs to hope that Midzi and Lighty can catch onto the back of exotic planes, which Midzi's doing. Midzi is catching onto the back of exotic planes, 2 seconds the gap, and that will come down very quickly as AERT now enter lap 22 and 23 of their tyre life.
Yeah, they do, but I think the penalties is really going to benefit them, because even if they do get overtaken, they're not going to lose that much time to, you know, fall behind all these cars. So I think this could still be a very solid, maybe 3-4 for AERT, because Alfie, you'd have to say, is inevitably going to get the move sooner or later, but he's definitely not going to get the win because Blast alone is 3 seconds behind Radius, and Alfie now 4 seconds because he can't hook it up. He seems a bit scruffy on this fresh set of inters, and he's going to currently have to sit in P3, but we've got a battle for P9 as well. Elite Scythe, I guess, on the IRT car. IRT actually having a pretty good race in 6th and 9th. Strong showing at the moment, but it's going to come undone because Elite Scythe goes around the outside. 3-lap fresher enters, doesn't fight it too much, does Nice Tatty. Smart driving are going to sit behind as he goes very deep, runs a bit wide, but keeps the position. Good move.
And Mr. Alfie does not want to be sat behind for Blast for too long because he senses a win here, Alfie does. With Radius's penalty. He definitely senses a win if he can get past Blast, and then he'll have about 3 laps to catch onto the back of Radius's penalty. The gap is 4.5 seconds, so he needs to get a move on. He needs to get a wiggle on ASAP. But yeah, ART 2 and 4, if it stays like that, will catch up to FGE monumentally, to be honest. It has not been a good race for FGE, and I don't think Stanners is going to get anywhere near the points today.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think ART maybe could have split the strategy because, you know, they had 2 cars up there. Maybe just pull the trigger with one of them and they would have been in the battle for the lead on them fresh inters. So, you know, I don't mind the strategy staying out. I think they could have split it, but they obviously have their own plan. I'm not going to question that. It's going pretty well for them, to be honest. Midzi is on the back of Exotic and he might even send it going into turn 4. But he decides to sit behind. Smart driving that we've seen all night, really, from Midzi, as he gives him a bit of a tap. He's just got no grip, does Exotic. Look how much traction Midzi's got. And he's already into P4, just like that, out of 1 traction zone. So, yeah, now he has to try and pull 3 seconds from Exotic, which is easier said than done.
It's interesting to see. I said they could have a 2-4 here. They might be looking at more like a 4-6, 3-6 kind of thing. Battling going on at the back with the wooden spoons. Dracaris and Yassine battling. Yeah, nothing really. Maybe Dracaris is going to try it back on him. They're not going to get any points, but they might get overtake of the day. Let's see, Dracaris, what have you got in your locker, son? Can he get a move done on Yassine? And the answer is no, he can't. Back on boards with Midzi and Lighty starting to get into it as well. Penalties happening all over the place. The last thing Blast and Exotic want is a penalty.
Yeah, I mean, that would completely undo all their hard work, just keeping it consistent, plodding about. I mean, they've got no battery to their name compared to the other guys, but, you know, it's a strong drive, very consistent, and you'd have to say, I don't think Midzi can even catch Blast, let alone pull 3 seconds. So, from Blast's perspective, I think if he can keep them tyres going, that'll be a podium for him, as Stanner's day just keeps getting worse and worse. And FGE are probably not even watching the stream, which I wouldn't blame them for. They've probably given up. Very uncharacteristic from FGE, you have to say, but consistency wins titles, and your bad days have to be not so bad. And this is a very, very bad day. So we'll have to see how that does affect the standings. But Kenyan on the back of Neon and Lighty up behind Exotic. Kieran will be crying in the chat because Lighty is pushing him through the final corner. He won't want them to make contact. And here they go on to lap 35.
Well, last week, FG had a 73-point lead. And as it stands, TTM will knock that lead down to about 21 points. I've just done the quick maths. As it stands, provisionally and all that, if TTM stay where they are, I think the gap comes down to about 21. With BRT and AERT obviously closing up as well, which is interesting to see. A 73 point comes down to 20, and interesting to see. Kenyan, oh my goodness me, and Neon, wheel to wheel, battling away for P7, P8 here. Mr. Neon does get ahead. Kenyan might not fancy that one. He's too far back for a move. But yeah, lap 35 and 36, Dracarys gets a move. Kenyan late braking. It looks like Rage has got this in the bag.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, Radius 4 seconds ahead of Alfie now, not really being challenged if he keeps it clean. So a very strong race from BRT, getting themselves back in a title fight. They had a very weak race in Hungary. I think scored 6 points, if my memory serves correct, but I'm probably completely wrong. But yeah, a nice resurgent form from BRT. Alfie, very strong drive as we enter the final lap. Blast P3. Kenyan has finally got past Neon. And Lighty is still stuck behind Exotic, who seems to have all the straight line speed in the world. As Lighty goes for the move on the inside, doesn't quite come off. Now he's going to set it up on the run up to turn 3.
So yeah, all the other teams behind FG are going to catch it. And they've all had good races, to be fair. Bunga are going to win the race. ART are going to probably look like they're going to have both drivers in the top 5. TTM looks like they're going to be P4, P7. So yeah, all the drivers everyone behind FG have had a really good race, so fair play to them. Exotic doesn't need to try anything here. He just needs to bring this car home. Really doesn't need to try anything. And he's not going to try anything. Radius looks like he's coming around the final few corners here, London. It looks like he's going to win the race.
Yeah, absolute dominant drive. You have to say he's controlled the race in the wet conditions. He started in P3 and he's in P1 as we enter the final corner of the race. He's got 1 second buffer with that penalty. BRT Radius. BRT back on top after a slight slump in form. They are back on the top step of the podium. AMS Alfie in P2 and Midzi is right up behind Blast coming to the line, but AERT Blast, who started on the front row, comes home to take a podium. And a very strong race. Interesting strategy from AERT, but it paid off in the end. Exotic Plains P5. Lighty finishes P6. A strong race from him. Kenyan gets up into P7 after his difficult day. Neon P8. Elite Scythe looks like he's going to round off 9th place. And nice Tatty. IRT having a strong day overall. He started 18th. Finishes 10th. The 2 SLR cars 11th and 12th. And Ramon will come home in 13th. And after all this, Tom, it looks like FGE will get a lonesome point, or maybe 2, as he sends up the last corner. And I think that might be looked at by the stewards.
Yeah, I think Stanners might be getting looked at quite a bit, to be honest. So provisionally, BRT get 40 points, AERT get 37 points, and TTM will be getting 30 points as well. So 3 teams there right behind FGE. FG really gaining on the lead that they had. So, I mean, we spoke off stream. Obviously, we're not being biased, none of us, but I'm definitely not being biased. I just want a close championship. And I kind of, I'm not going to say I put the hoodoo magic on FG, but
I think you did.
I did.
You definitely did.
I did. I got out there before they got on track and I oiled it up a little bit. So yeah, it's sunny now. Radius wins the race. Alfie, congratulations to AMS. Podium for them and Alfie. Blasting P3, he kept his tyres until the ends. Mitty P4, Exotic Plains P5. Lighty 6, Kenyan 7, Neon Lollipops in 8. Elite in 9, then you've got Tati 10, Nico 11, Torpin 12, Ramon 13, Stanners. Day to forget. He might get that point, I'm not overly sure. And then you scroll down to the bottom there. And that is that. So let's go back up to the top before JT shouts at me.
Yep.
Perfect. Right. What is everyone saying in the chat? Good race that though. Really.
Yeah,
really
very
good
exciting.
Race. Good for the championship as well. an FG driver or manager. Yeah, thank you, Loveland, for helping out today. Any final words?
I have a few words because do you know what the next race is, Tom?
It's fucking Monaco.
Yeah, baby. So I think we're going to see a lot of qualifying practice for that race, and it's going to be a survival of the fittest because we saw so much carnage today, and there's barely any walls to hit around here. So put some walls 1 centimeter away from each car. It might get a bit messy, but I think it'll be a good laugh and really show who's about it, who can take the fight to FGE at the toughest track on the calendar.
I forgot that, Mazza. I'm sorry. I'll do it next week. You wanted me to do ASMR. Yeah, a really good race. Good for the championship, unless you're an FG driver or manager. Yeah, it's good for it's good for the viewers as well. We don't want one team running away with it. So FG, I might need to put some more hoodoo on you for next week, just to bring you in a little bit closer. But yeah, Monaco next week, Wednesday for Tier S, RIP Tier 2. But yeah, let's catch you back on Wednesday. It'll be, actually I don't know who it is. It might be Joseph, it might not be Joe, I don't know. We'll just see what he's up to be honest. He's a part-timer nowadays. And then it'll be me on Thursday. I'll be here for Monaco. I'll get myself ready for that. I'll be ready.
I unfortunately won't be here next week.
Boo!
I'll be on a plane. So there's worse places to be, but yeah, I'll try and watch when I land because I'm quite interested to see the carnage, to be completely honest.
I'll have to draft someone in. Right, yeah, lads, we'll catch you on Wednesday for Monaco Tier S. First time Monaco has ever been in AEC. So yeah, I can't wait. Catch you later, boys.